Okay, so now we are going to start endocrine segment, endocrine chapter from first aid, and we will be looking at different important points about endocrinology, and for that is very important for USMLE and FCPS or any other board exams or any kind of exams for residency, and endocrine is very important chapter for especially for different exams because it is very exam friendly. It is the favorite topic of examiners. They love to ask questions from endocrine. So it starts from embryology because everything starts from embryology. Every human thing starts from embryology. So endocrine system has group of glands maintain body homeostasis, and they release hormones. Those hormones travel into the bloodstream and go into the distant organ, act there, and a negative feedback, positive feedback mechanism control those hormones. What kind of hormones? From brain to the we can say genitalia. All kind of hormones are related to endocrine. Like from brain, there are hormones like ADH, oxytocin, FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone, and then comes the pancreas, and then comes the we can say thyroid gland, thymus gland, and there is pituitary gland, and some of the glands related to reproduction like estrogen, progesterone, FSH, LH, all kind these kind of hormones are related to endocrine system. So the embryology is thyroid development. Thyroid development occurs from thyroid diverticulum, arises from the floor of primitive pharynx and descends into neck and connected to the tongue by thyroglossal duct. Now it is connected to the tongue with the help of a duct known as what? Thyroglossal duct. Thyroglossal duct. It's a connection between tongue and thyroid gland. That is thyroglossal duct, a duct that is connecting tongue and thyroid gland. Now, what happens that there is a foramen cecum. It is normal remnant of thyroglossal duct. It is very important point. Foramen cecum is remnant of thyroglossal duct. Most common ectopic thyroid tissue is at the side of tongue. The side of the tongue that is known as lingual thyroid. It's a remnant, and removal may result into hypothyroidism, and it is only thyroid tissue present. If it is only thyroid tissue present, or if there is only single thyroid tissue, and that is thyroglossal duct, and if it is removed, it can cause hypothyroidism. So thyroglossal duct or thyroglossal duct cyst is present anterior to the midline of the neck, and it moves on the swallowing and protrusion of the tongue. It moves, and so we have to diagnose that it is thyroglossal duct cyst. So that can be removed. If it is only present, it can present as a hypothyroidism because there is no thyroid gland, and duct removal results into the all of the hormone decrease, and those decreased hormone can cause hypothyroidism. So can you guess what kind of signs and symptoms a person present in the hypothyroidism? Can someone guess? If yes, then please raise the hand. And in hypothyroidism, there can be cretinism, there can be myxedema, there can be weight gain, slow reflexes, muscle weakness, cold intolerance, bradycardia, oligomenorrhea, hypercholesterolemia, and constipation, weight gain, fatty person. So these are all the signs of hypothyroidism. When this duct is removed, these type of signs can be found. Thyroid follicles are the cells derived from endoderm. Parafollicular cells arise from fourth pharyngeal pouch. Now there are follicles, thyroid follicular cells derived from endoderm. It is very important to memorize for exam point of view. Parafollicular cells arise from fourth pharyngeal pouch according to embryology. So one is endoderm where thyroid follicles are derived. Another one is parafollicular cells which arise from fourth pharyngeal pouch. This is very little embryological. significance of thyroid gland. Now come to the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is located in the base of brain, and it has a lot of reserve of hormones. And there are two types of portions of pituitary gland: anterior one and the posterior pituitary gland. Now, anterior pituitary is known as adenohypophysis, means anteriorly, and posterior pituitary is also known as neurohypophysis. Hypophysis is hypothalamus. Pituitary gland is hanging from the hypothalamus, and it has anterior adenohypophysis and posterior neurohypophysis. So we will be looking and comparing both adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. What kind of we can say the hormones are released from anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Let me draw something about hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Now let's suppose this box is hypothalamus. It is producing a lot of nasty kind of hormones. What kind of hormones? I'm going to tell you. This is pituitary gland, and it has two types. Don't get it wrong. This is just pituitary gland. Now it has a stalk, anterior hypophysis and posterior hypophysis. Can you guess what kind of a structure is this? This is pituitary gland, bro. This is pituitary gland. So there is anterior pituitary gland, adenohypophysis, and another one is posterior pituitary gland, that is neurohypophysis. Now hormones from hypothalamus are produced and they comes downward, and some hormones settle here in the adenohypophysis, some hormones settle here in the neurohypophysis. Hormones that are present in the anterior pituitary gland are like like FSH, LH, and hormones that are present in the posterior pituitary gland are like the antidiuretic hormone, and also we can say the adiation oxytocin. So these are the hormones which are present in the anterior pituitary gland, adenohypophysis, and posterior pituitary gland are neurohypophysis. Now anterior pituitary gland secretes FSH, LH, ACTH, TSH, prolactin, growth hormone, beta endorphins, melatonins, and these secreted into anterior pituitary gland, and they are secreted from intermediate lobe of pituitary gland, derived from oral ectoderm, Rathke's pouch. These are derived from Rathke's pouch, and they have alpha subunits and common to TSH, LH, FSH, and HCG. Now beta subunits determine hormone specificity. So this is very important thing to memorize, that anterior pituitary gland release FSH, LH, ACTH, TSH. Now what is function of FSH? It helps in release of and maturation of follicle in reproduction of the females. LH also helps in luteinization, luteinizing hormone. ACTH, adenocorticotropic hormone, it acts on the adrenal cortex to release the hormones that are present in the adrenal cortex. GFR, zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, zona reticularis. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. It stimulates the thyroid gland to release T3, T4, and there is also a negative feedback mechanism. Prolactin is all about milk, and oxytocin. Prolactin is all about milk, milk production and milk laydown. Prolactin is very helpful. Growth hormone is all about person in the Game of Thrones who is dwarf, and Lannister, I think his name was Lannister. Okay. Growth hormone deficiency leads to dwarfism. Excessive growth hormone leads to acromegaly, like giant, a person giant in the history, and that is from wrestling. Beta endorphins are endorphins which are also mood enhancing hormone. Melatonin is helpful in giving black color to the different body parts. Don't get me wrong, black color like pupil, color of the pupil is the black. Hair are black. Melatonin, melatonin stimulating hormone, secreted from intermediate lobe of the pituitary gland, and derived from oral ectoderm, Rathke's pouch. Now here is oral ectoderm, Rathke's pouch gives rise to the adenohypophysis. Now comes the neurohypophysis, the posterior part of neurohypophysis. It stores and releases vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, and oxytocin. Both of these hormones, ADH and oxytocin, have role in different functions. Now let's suppose this is neurohypophysis. From this neurohypophysis, two hormones are coming down. One is ADH, another is oxytocin. What oxytocin does function? What is the function of oxytocin? Oxytocin helps in what we can say, oxytocin helps in contraction of uterus, and ADH has role in retention of the water, makes collecting duct permeable to the water, and water is reabsorbed from collecting duct of the kidney, and more water is preserved, and it concentrates the urine. ADH makes collecting duct permeable to water. Made in hypothalamus from suprachiasmatic, supraoptic, and paraventricular nuclei, transported into posterior pituitary gland via neurohypophysis. Carrier protein is a carrier protein, and it is derived from the neuroectoderm. This is derived from oral ectoderm. This is derived from neuroectoderm. Oral ectoderm has different derivative, and neuroectoderm has different derivative. So this is very important point to memorize and remember as well. Now another one is adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla, these are present on the top of kidney. They are riding the kidneys, and they have different hormonal function. Adrenal cortex has three layers: GFR, glomerulosa, fasciculata, and the reticularis. Now GFR, glomerulosa, has role in angiotensin 2 as a function of aldosterone retention. Fasciculata has role in cortisol release, and reticularis has role in cortisol releasing hormone. So in this way, androgen and the catecholamines. So in this way, these different layers of adrenal cortex release different hormones, and adrenal medulla release catecholamines. Catecholamines help in contraction of the heart, and many a lot of epinephrine and norepinephrine. So we will be looking at in depth how these work. So zona glomerulosa release aldosterone, fasciculata release cortisol, and zona reticularis release DHEA hormone. So in this way, these hormones work.